Parallel, bilingualism then and now.
Before the 1960s, bilingualism was considered a handicap that slows the child's development by forcing them to spend too much energy distinguishing between languages, a view based largely on flawed studies. A recent study showed that reaction times and errors increase for some bilingual students in cross-language tests. It also showed that the effort and attention needed to switch between languages triggered more activity in, and potentially strengthened, the dorsolateral prefrontal cortex. This is part of the brain that plays a large role in executive function, problem solving, switching between tasks, and focusing while filtering out irrelevant information. Before the 1960s, immigrant students in the USA were not allowed to speak a language other than English at schools, and they were punished because of it. The proportion of bilinguals in the US has practically doubled since 1980. Before the 1970s in Colombia, we didn't study English at most schools but French, 1 hour every week. The promotion of bilingualism since the beginning of schooling has become one of the major goals of the educational policies in Colombia. In 1972, ASPRA, an organization working for the development of Latino youth, filed a lawsuit against the Department of Education of New York, urging the court to order the establishment of a school program for English learners. It was a class action lawsuit that had to do with discrimination against language minorities. They encourage bilingualism in the USA. In the USA, before 1972, there was no bilingual education. Non-English speakers were placed into special education classes. After 1972, it was decided to start a bilingual education program to properly address the needs of English language learners. A lot of these kids are not successfully transitioning to mainstream programs. A lot of Latin American students in the USA still drop out of school because of the language. In 2004, Colombian government implemented policies for bilingualism, Plan Nacional de Bilingüismo. The goal is to become a bilingual country. English proficiency. In Colombia. Number 77, Colombia de 111 countries. Level, low. Position in Latin America, 17 of 20. Countries English proficiency. The EF English Proficiency Index, EFEPI, attempts to rank countries by the equity of English language skills amongst those adults who took the EF test. It is the product of EF Education First, an international education company, and draws its conclusions from data collected via English tests available for free over the internet. The index is an online survey first published in 2011 based on test data from 1.7 million test takers. The most recent edition was released in November 2022. Countries with high English proficiency level: Países Bajos, Singapore, Austria, Noruega, Dinamarca, Belgica. There were almost no jobs for English teachers or bilinguals. For example, there were no call centers in Colombia. Opportunity and incentive for becoming bilingual in Colombia: getting a job, traveling, being more competitive in the labor market, personal satisfaction, etc. It was believed that learning a second language was a handicap because the brain had to concentrate on differentiating between the two languages. Studying bilingualism in young children. Then and now, the same. Discrimination in the USA for speaking Spanish. Parallel, bilingualism then and now.